So, I think it's time we have a real talk about mass shootings. What's up, Wolverines? Welcome back to John Crump News, where we talk about everything 2A related. My name is John Crump. I'm an investigative journalist and also a gun rights advocate. I just got back from the gathering down in South Carolina held by Palmetto State Armory. That's why I haven't been on for a few days. But I need to make this video. It is a timely video, which is unfortunate, and it's a video that I didn't want to make, but I feel that I need to. We're going to be talking about the mass shooting Contagion, but before we get into that, let me just state that mass shootings in schools are extremely rare. The news tries to paint it as some type of epidemic. It is definitely not that. Most mass shootings in this country are gangland wars that happen in the inner city, but the media doesn't talk about those. They use statistical jujitsu to try to make you think that every time you go to the store, you might be a victim of a mass shooter. Mass shootings in that case are exceedingly rare. School shootings are even rarer, but those are the ones that the media likes to portray as all mass shootings, and it's for a couple different reasons. One, they're anti-gun, but there's a bigger reason, and that's about ratings. They are pandering to a white suburban crowd that watches the 24-hour news cycle more than the urban crowd. So they will just use the numbers from the urban incidents, but they won't really cover those incidents. There is a saying in the media that if it bleeds, it leads, and that is where they get their ratings from. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the mass shooting contagion. The mass shooting contagion is a theory, and there's tons of research to back up this theory, including interviews with mass shooters that they do it for fame. I'm going to link all my sources down below. After Columbine, the 24-hour news cycle put the two killers on every station. Their names were repeated, and I'm sure you probably even know their names right now. Their faces were shown, and they became famous for their mass shootings. The Sandy Hook killer once made a list of 500 mass shooters and posted it to an online forum. He did a lot of research into mass shooters, and he wanted to become famous. The Charleston, South Carolina church shooter had the same issue. He wanted to become infamous. He actually said that in his interviews. The Tucson shooter, same exact thing. The Virginia Tech shooter, exact thing. He wanted to become famous. A lot of these shooters want to become famous. I'm not even talking about a small majority of them. I'm talking about over 50% of mass shooters that are interviewed say that they perpetrated their mass shootings for fame. The Aurora shooter, same thing. He wanted to become famous. And yet the media tries to blame everything on guns. The media knows if they don't name the killers, they won't get as many clicks. And it's all about the ad stream for these media companies. They even use places like the Violence Project to downplay the role that they play in mass shootings. What I am talking about is the Violence Project put out a blog post stating that only 11 mass shooters have done it for fame, which we know is false because there's been tons of peer review papers that says the opposite, including the FBI's own research and the federal government's research from places like NIH, which should know a little bit about doing studies. Also, major universities and colleges have also put out studies that show that this number is much, much higher. And the Violence Project cites their official Twitter account as their source, which does not cite any sources itself. But the media will hang on to that because it clears them from any wrongdoing and clears them from any responsibility. There is a reason why I don't talk about mass shooters, and I never, ever name mass shooters. And that is because I don't want to feed into the cycle of violence. There are a couple of good campaigns out there that are trying to pressure the media into not showing pictures of the killers or naming them. One of those programs is the No Notoriety Project, which wants the media not to show pictures or names of the killers. They list a bunch of different incidents where the killers wanted their names to be known, including the Parkland, Florida shooting. And then there's the Don't Name Them campaign, which is a project of the Texas State University, and they are pushing for the same exact thing because they have tons of studies on their websites that shows that these killers are doing it for fame. Will the media listen? I don't think that they will because they don't care about people. They care about clicks. I'm also not blaming the media for the killings. The killings fall solely on the killers. But what they are doing is not helping either. All right, guys, and that is it. If you like what I do here, like, comment, and subscribe. This isn't one of my usual videos, but I think it is important to talk about and to get the message out there just because it needs to be said. All right, guys, stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keep in the fight. I'm out of here. Wolverines.